Okay, this is a video on dividing polynomials by a binomial. So there are 3 steps that's pretty easy to do, but the first step is we're going to factor the numerator. So we're just taking a look at this numerator here, x squared plus 7x minus x, and we're going to factor it just as we've been doing before with our factoring. So we know that our first term will be x. We know one of them will be a plus and one will be a minus because we have our plus sign and we have our minus sign. And we're looking to see what would create 8 and also 7. So factors of 8 would be 8 times 1. And if we do 8 minus 1, we get our positive 7. So we're going to put the 8 here and the 1 here. And if we were to FOIL back, we know that we've got the right thing there with that. All of that is going over the denominator still, x minus 1. Okay, so now my step 2 is I'm literally going to cancel out my common factors. Well, my common factors, I have x plus 8, that's one factor, and I have x minus 1, and then I have x minus 1 on the bottom. So my common factors are right here. These cancel out. And the remaining factor that's left over is my answer. So x plus 8, this is my answer for this first problem. So it's pretty simple. It's just kind of doing our factoring as we've already been doing. And I'll also show you some other tricks. This is one of the tricks. This is a shortcut to do it. So we're going to again look at the denominator. And then we're going to ask ourselves, what can I multiply the first term by to get the first term in the numerator? All right, so I know I have x minus 1. This is my denominator. And I'm trying to multiply it by something to get me the x squared right here. Well, I know that x times x gives me x squared. Now I'm going to look at the second term. So I've done this. I'm now looking at what can I multiply the second term by to get the last term in the numerator. So what can I multiply negative 1 by to get negative 8? That's what I'm looking for there. And I know it would be a positive 8 because I know a negative times a positive is a negative, and then 1 times 8 is 8. Now again, I've just done my work, so this goes over x minus 1. So this right here, again, cancels out, and what's left is my quotient, which was x plus 8. And again, if we go back, we already said that. We said x plus 8 was our answer. So this is just a little bit of a shortcut. You can look at that denominator and then sort of work your way through to see what the other factor would be or what the quotient would be. All right, let's practice with a couple of these. So first one here, again, what we're going to do is take the numerator and we need to factor out the numerator. I know x's are going to be my first part. And then I'm also looking at 2 minuses because I have a plus sign here. So it's got to be a negative times a negative to give me the positive there. And I'm looking at factors of 21 that are also going to add up to 10. So that would be 7 times 3 or 7 minus 3. So this would be my 21, and then this would be my, 7 plus 3. And that's going to be my 10. So now I have, and it doesn't really matter where I put it. I'm going to put 7 there, put 3 here. And then that would be that top, or the numerator. That's my factors for the numerator. My denominator is x minus 7. And again, I'm looking at what I can cancel out. X minus 7, x minus 7. So I'm left with x minus 3. This is my answer. That's my quotient because I was dividing. Here's another one. The top part, hopefully you recognize that the top is the difference of squares. So I'm going to use my difference of square rule. So I know it's going to be y plus and y minus. And 5 times 5 gives me the 25. Okay, all that goes over y plus 5. Again, I'm going to cancel out y plus 5, y plus 5. I'm left with y minus 5. So y minus 5 is my quotient for that particular problem there. All right, on this one, hopefully you recognize this has got a common factor. You've got to make sure you're taking out the greatest common factor before we do anything else. So I know I have a 2 in common with both 2 and 16. I also have an x in common. So I need to take out a 2x. This is coming out. Now I've got something that I'm going to be multiplying by here. Oops, wait. So when I do this, I have 2x times x gives me the 2x squared, and then 2x minus 8 gives me the 2 times 8, or 2 times negative 8 gives me negative 16x, and that's what I'm looking for there. Actually, I'm sorry. This is supposed to be a plus sign. Sorry, that's a plus sign. my mistake. So now when I do this at the bottom, this is x plus 8. This was a typo on my part. Sorry. That is a plus sign there. So again, I can cancel out, and I get 2x. This is my answer or my quotient for that problem. And again, don't forget, we do have to factor out the greatest common factor. A lot of people are leaving the variable off. Make sure that you're taking the number and the variable if you can. All right, we have one more here. This is going to use our slip and slide to get this one done, because I have a variable in front of my my coefficient is a I have a coefficient in front of my variable, so I need to make sure that I'm slip and sliding. So I'm going to take the 2 and I'm going to slip it all the way back here. So that gives me x squared plus 5x minus 24. All that is going over 2x minus 3. All right, so now from here I have to think about what I'm doing. So I've got to do my FOIL and factor this out, or my reverse FOIL. I know it's going to be x. I know one of my numbers is going to be plus and one is going to be minus. And now I have to think, how do I get, or actually, how do I get 24? So I know I have 3 times 8, and I also know that 8 minus 3 would give me the 5. Okay, so the 8 has to be positive because my 5 is positive, and then I have minus 3. Don't forget, though, we took a 2 out. We slipped it over to the 12, so now we have to slide it back. So I need to put it under here and put it under here. Okay, this reduces. 8 over 2 reduces and becomes x plus 4. This does not reduce. 3 over 2 does not reduce. So I have to slide my 2 back up here for my coefficient. 2x minus 3. Remember, the 3 now stays the same. And also that should help me out because of the fact that my denominator here is 2x minus 3. And that's what I'm looking for. One of these should be the same. So 2x minus 3. This and this are the same, so therefore x plus 4 is my quotient. This is my final answer here. So those are just a couple examples. Like I said, kind of using one of each kind with the difference of squares and slip and slide and factoring out. You want to just review it again, make sure that you understand it all.